All right, y'all. Welcome back to Four Titles, One Truth. I'm Lance.
What's up? It's your boy Tommy.
That's him.
And today, this one is personal because we're talking about mentorship.
Yeah,
And mentorship is more than just a buzzword to us.
absolutely. Mentorship takes work.
Yeah.
It's not about picking your favorite or saying, I got you, man, and disappearing.
Yeah. Because being a mentor, it takes time, it takes presence, but mainly it takes consistency.
Yeah, sure
And
does.
today, we're talking about what mentorship really looks like when it works and when it doesn't.
Yep. So, hey, let's get into it.
Okay, let's
All
go.
right, Tommy, what's the difference between being a mentor and just being a supervisor?
All right, supervisor is near term, right? Supervisor, we're talking Army specifically. As a soldier, you counsel them monthly. As an NCO, an officer, you're counseled quarterly.
Okay.
And the whole point of counseling is to identify where you are and then set goals for you to achieve, right? And you're supposed to combine what the soldier wants or the leader wants to do with their career, as well as the foresight and the knowledge and experience you have to help them set that up.
Right.
Now, if you step back, that looks and sounds like mentoring. But when you're talking about mentorship, you're talking about 5-year goals. You're talking about 10-year goals. You're talking about, in my mind, you're talking longevity, and as a soldier, you're drawn to someone because you see their style, you see
Right.
their career path, and that's something that you want to know how to achieve that.
Right.
And then a mentor takes you on because they are fond of you, they do see something in you, and they want to help you to reach whatever goals you have in your head.
Yeah. I think I agree with what you're saying because I feel like counseling is more of the present.
Yep.
You know, what are
Near
we
term.
doing now? And the mentorship is not just this assignment, but the next assignment. You know,
Right.
and to help you continue to grow and help you to make sure that you're checking those blocks that you need to in order to advance. You know,
Right.
to what you are because mentorship isn't. I don't feel like it's not. What I want for you is what you want.
Right.
So it's like, what do you want? Then for the mentor to come back and be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is where you want to be. Then you need to make sure that you know, do this branch of classes or try to get these assignments or try to get these jobs that will set you up
Yep.
to be, you know, whatever that end goal is or whatever that rank that you want to eventually achieve. Or because a lot of folks that you might meet, because I know folks that I've mentored before didn't stay in for a career. You know, they did it enough so that they could get out, and then they were, you know, civilians and been successful on the civilian side. So,
But that's where it goes back to being a good mentor because they asked you the questions, you gave them the knowledge, and they made a decision to change up, and that's okay.
yep,
You know, and that's why you got to remember that when you're a mentor, you take you take yourself out of it. You take your ego is
right.
the word I'm
Oh
looking
yeah,
for. You take your ego out of it, and you just try to lay the path. The way I like to describe it is as a soldier or a mentee, as a young leader, you're the one you see a path that you want to take, but it's dark in front of you. Right, so you're sitting there guessing, what do I need to do to get to this next spot, this next location?
right,
As a mentor, you're the map and the flashlight because you're sitting there saying, hey, if you're trying to get there, here's a map and this is how you can get there. And then the more conversation we have, I'm shining that spotlight onto the sidewalk so you can start your journey.
yeah. I mean, because I remember some situations where I had to ask one of my friends or one of my peers, kind of whatever you want to call it, it'd be friends mostly, would ask them, hey, because I hadn't had that particular job or been in that particular area. If the mentee comes and says, "Oh, I want to do this," it's like,
Right.
no, I don't know. I haven't had experience with that, but I know someone. So let me talk to them and see what they suggest. I've done that before, so that I could give them all of the information, all of the stuff, so that they have all of the
Information
the
they need,
information
yeah.
there to make a good decision
Yeah.
about, this would be good, or I think I would would like that or excel in that. But I think it's also for us, if you're the mentor, to see the potential in the individual and be able to tell them, I don't think you would like that. You know, I don't know if you would be the
to be
best
honest
at that.
with them.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
to be honest
but I
with
do
them.
think that you could do and be outstanding. You know, but if they still want to pursue whatever goal or dream, like, okay,
Give
well,
them
this is
all
what
the
you're gonna need.
information
Yeah,
you get.
this is
Yeah,
what you're gonna need to do because that's their goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they wanted to do. That's what they see their future as, not yours. And what you're here to do is to help them to be successful in that assignment where they're there with you, and to help them be successful with that assignment when they're gonna be away from you.
and
So,
that's that ego.
yep.
That's that getting that, because you don't always know the best way. You know a way that worked, and that soldier is not you. It's not a mini you. It's not you at all. They have goals, aspirations. Your job is to try to help them get there. All right. So let me ask you: have you ever mentored someone that surprised you, whether in a good way or a bad way?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, it's been some folks that had no. I mean, they were super quiet, didn't say, and it'd be like they don't want to do it, you know. and it's not. I mean, because I was, and I had to go back and look. And it's like I wasn't a big boisterous, you know.
Right.
You know, especially when they're not
Vocally?
feeling. I wasn't super
Loud.
vocal or loud.
Why are you
or
looking
anything
at
like that?
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just saying, you know, it's the yin and the yang, you know.
I
It's
got
how
you.
you were.
I got you.
But yeah, I had some folks that weren't super vocal, weren't probably the most athletic, weren't the just, I mean, didn't actually,
They didn't seem to be.
yeah, didn't seem to be at, or didn't seem as, I shouldn't say it, didn't seem to be as interested,
Right.
you know, in the specialty or whatever. And I was just thinking, okay, they're gonna go and do
Whatever.
something else, so they don't need it. But you know, they come, and then when you have your counseling with them, and they come and start talking to you, and you're like, oh,
Yeah. There's
okay.
something here.
Yeah. So then once you give them some of those little push, well, I gave them some of those little pusher things, so they start, you know, teaching class, giving in services, teaching different classes, start stepping up, and then you just start seeing them.
Oh, different.
Start seeing them blossom, and then you see them start. Then, like especially with the military, you're not always with folks. You know,
Their whole career,
two years to 4 years,
Yeah.
depending on what you're doing, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Then gone.
And then they leave.
Yeah.
And then I've had folks do that and then come back.
Better.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I have, you know, it's like known, you know, was mentoring or whatever when I was a major.
Right.
Come back when I was a colonel, and they're coming back to work for me as a head nurse, or, you know, something. And it's just like, oh my God, you know. And you have people calling and saying, "Hey, such and such is coming."
Yeah.
I was like,
Good
"Oh
soldier.
yeah, I work with that." I said, "I know." I said, "They were
I
good
built
there."
that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, so that type of thing where it's like, never would have thought that they would have stayed in the specialty or whatever, and then seeing them grow because they gone to different places. Because that's the thing about the military. We're not a situation where we work at one place for 20 years, the same place for 20 years, and able to do things. We go to different places that are, especially when you're in the medical piece. You might be going to a huge hospital, or you might be going to a tiny hospital, or you might be in one
Online
of the field
somewhere,
units, and then, you know. But it's a lot of different things that you do in order to make yourself successful.
Yeah.
You know.
And just asking the right questions is just the start, you know. So for me, I have mentored people. I can honestly tell you that I haven't mentored people like over 20 years, 10 years, but I have had people check in along the way. So I
think it's hard to do that over 20 years,
It is.
especially in the military. I think after you get out, and if they're out, I mean, I think you still have conversations with them.
Well, it's a two-part thing. You know what I'm saying? If somebody really wants you to help them develop, then they'll stay in contact more. And if you really want to help them develop, you'll stay in contact more, and that'll make it that long-term thing,
Okay.
you know. But like we said, life happens when you're serving in the military, and days pass by. Next thing you know, years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been surprised both ways. I've been surprised in how much somebody's listened,
Mm-hmm.
and took that to heart, and then
Right.
seen their career go. And that's the best surprise. Well, one of the best surprises. Um, Another good surprise is when you tell somebody, like for instance, drill sergeant and recruiter, right? I had a lot of soldiers come to me and ask me, should they be a drill sergeant? And you know, I would just tell them how I thought a drill sergeant should be. Hey, 3 years on the trail, I know a little bit,
Right.
and just how the personality has to be and all that. And so just being honest with them, and then seeing them take that step, or not take that step but go to
A different
recruiting,
direction. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and knowing that that's where their value was and they could get the most out of that. That's been outstanding. Um, and also, I've seen the bad way, and the only bad way I'll say is, well, it's two ways. One, when they mess up their career, like you see somebody who's high speed, you see somebody who has it,
Mm-hmm.
the physical and the
Mental.
knowledge, the
Mm-hmm.
brain, and then they get DUI, or they do something to mess up
Something.
their
Yeah.
career that they'll never be able to reach the goals that they said that they wanted to achieve because now they're felons or whatever. That's one thing, and I've seen that too. And another thing is like, I've had a few suicides in my career,
Yeah.
and there was one soldier that I felt he had it, but he had some issues, and he ended up killing himself. And you're
Right.
just like, man, I
Well,
wish he
and
could
that's
see, what
right.
I was seeing and what I was trying to pour into him.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing about being a mentor or wanting to be a mentor is that the buy-in from the
Mm-hmm.
mentee, because if you really want to be a mentor and you want to share that knowledge with people, you're going to be so eager to do it, and then there's going to be so many soldiers that you're going to think may not be listening, and so it sucks some of the energy out of you,
Mm-hmm.
or soldiers not coming to you because a lot of soldiers, they don't even know how to approach, mentorship and
Yep.
stuff, and some leaders don't know how to accept that approach. So it's a complicated thing,
Yep.
but it's definitely something that um, you will be either proud or hurt.
That's.
There's only
Yeah.
one or two ways it could go.
I mean, it's just one of
Just hope
those.
you're more proud than hurt.
Yeah. So, what were your go-to ways to support a mentee who was struggling, but had that potential?
So my go-to way was and it was just everything that I brought. It was just energy, just trying to be honest with them first off,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially about the path, because one thing I know for sure, being successful in the military, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
There's so much buy-in you have to have and give to be successful in the military. And you can be successful in moments, but we're talking about that long-term 20, 30-year retirement. It takes a lot of commitment.
Yep.
And there are people out there, because of legitimate situations, family, relationships, and all that stuff, that they don't have the energy to do it, or they think they don't, and then that's where because one of the big things is trying to go to college while you're serving and while you're trying to be high speed in your
Right.
job, and you don't have that spouse to help you with the studying and the classes, and so it's all on you, and just trying to convince people that it's going to be hard, but I promise you it'll be worth it. And then just trying to give them energy to feed off of to
Right.
try to keep them focused. I think that's pretty much the only thing you can do is just try to
Right.
hype them back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and then that's I agree with you. I mean, because that's just being. I mean, the thing that I think we've both said multiple times, and I'm sure we'll say it through the end of this is you got to be honest with
Yeah.
the folks. If you're honest and genuine
Yeah.
with your mentee or even when you're doing your counseling,
Yeah.
I think people will listen. Well, people listen more.
Or they get punched in the head
Yeah,
less.
I mean, because it's like, I mean, because it's I mean, it is. It's a reality thing where it's like, oh, they're just not trying to blow smoke up
Yeah.
my ass.
Like,
I
ooh,
mean, and
this
that's
is
the other
real.
thing too
Yeah.
is like you don't want to just pump them up because it's like they already know that, they already see that,
Yeah.
you know, they're already getting that, and then it's okay to say, good job, you're doing a good job doing this, whatever.
Yeah.
But to have somebody that will come and break you down.
Yeah.
I mean, and breaking down doesn't mean just stomping them.
Right.
It means just pointing out some of the things like you can do better at this,
Yeah.
or you can be better. It's because once you accept that, you know, in some situations, especially when you're younger, that I ain't the expert at this. I don't know everything that
Ego.
needs to be known about this, you know, then it's a lot easier to take that
Yeah.
constructive
Criticism,
criticism, you know, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get better, you know.
Yeah.
And if you are truly trying to be the best, want to be the best, building your legacy, whatever, then you're gonna be like, okay,
Yeah.
let me try to figure out how I can improve that or do better than that. Because I used to tell people all the time, and I said, I'm not looking for rocket shots for, you know, we improve by 700%, and what I said, because that's not realistic.
Yeah.
You know, we improve by 10%.
Yeah.
15%, 20%,
Yeah.
7%.
Something, yeah.
You know, that shows that, okay, we're listening, we're chipping away
Yeah.
at the thing, and we're moving up.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot harder to get that true buy-in
Yeah.
when you have a rocket,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because you think it's easy.
Yeah, as
And then-
opposed to,
yeah.
okay, we got to do
Working
this, okay,
for
we
it.
need to
Yeah.
change this, or we need to improve this to make it so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, being honest with them, and then giving the person the chance to, I won't say fail, but not do as well, and come back and say, that's okay. This is what we need to do to try to get this a little better. This is what we could change to do whatever. I mean, and let them know, it's like if they make a stupid decision, be like, I made that same damn
Yeah.
decision. It's okay, but this is what I had to do in my situation.
Yeah.
What do you think you need to do when you're, you know?
You can't, it's just like your kids. You can't save them from everything.
I mean, you want to.
Yeah, 100% you want to, but just you have to, like you said, you got to be honest with how your path was, and then you have to tell them that my path is no guarantee your path is going to be
The same.
same. Yours could be easier than mine, but it could also be harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then to go back to what you were saying, it's being young. One of the hardest things that I kept running into is me thinking I knew what I was talking about. And that's something that no matter how many years the world is, young people are going to think they know everything. And you have to just not let your energy fade because you're wrong about something or
Yep.
because you fail on something.
Yep.
And I would say for both of us, that's something. Our careers weren't all good. You know, our careers had us stumbling, had us tripping over stuff, but that wasn't going to stop us, you know. And if I was wrong, especially when I was a young staff sergeant, when I was a young staff sergeant, I absolutely was feeling myself, you know.
Right.
And there was legitimate reasons why I was feeling myself, but then there were those ego-driven things where I was feeling myself to where I'm like, you know, I know this, I got this. And, you know, being a platoon sergeant, the only time you've truly got it is that first day. Because after that, when you realize all the people are dependent on you, and then on the flip side, they're dependent on you for work and for personal stuff. And then on the flip side, the first sergeant always in your stuff, the commander's always in your stuff, the XO's always in your stuff, and then sometimes the sergeant major's in your stuff, and trying to juggle and stay focused on what needs to be focused on, because you have, like I had like 35 soldiers my first platoon. I think it was 35, 30 or 35, and trying to identify who's high speed, who's not, and then the high speed gets a DUI. And then the joker who you thought wasn't high speed may not be overachieving, but is the most consistent joker going. And recommend. There's so much to it.
It is. It's trying to. I mean, because you have those. Again, we talked about this earlier. You had those folks that are just boom out there shining, and then you had those folks that are sitting over to the side, where it's like you got to be able to recognize, recognize the talent, recognize the potential,
and pull it out,
and try to try to groom it and nurture it.
Yeah.
So because you can have those superstars that
Fizzle.
blow up, they blow up, and then it's like, okay, who am I gonna have come take the reins now? So yeah.
So I'll just tweak my answer a little bit. The energy. We talked about being honest with them, and I would say the energy that they have to bring every day, make sure they're aware of it, and make sure that if they trip, you can't let it suck all the energy out. You have to just get back up, try to understand what you did wrong, and then make that adjustment and move on. And then as a mentor, you just got to keep feeding them that energy. Right. When they call you complaining about something, listen. Then you don't even have to drive the daggone conversation, because sometimes people just need to vent. But before you hang up that phone, just got to remind them, hey, pick that energy back up. Hey, you dropped the ball. So have I. But you got to keep going, because this is where you said you wanted to go. So let's get to getting.
What you wanted to do.
Yeah, this ain't on me. All right. Did you ever feel like you needed mentorship but didn't get it? And if so, how did you move forward?
Yeah. I feel like I never really was seeking a mentor. And and it wasn't, I really don't, I wasn't, because I don't know if it was probably some of that ego in there where it was like, I don't need that. What are they going to tell me?
Yeah. Or
but,
who?
It was situations where I wish I would have had somebody on the nursing part where I could have gone,
information source.
I knew some folks, but as far as some of like the senior people who I wish would have come down, I never had that, and I never, as I got started moving up, if I never went seeking it so much. But as far as like just straight Army stuff, I had a great network of between my wife and then folks who she knew and who she was dealing with, and because she always had, I think, pretty good mentors and things like that. But I would get it through that way,
when you needed
it. Whether it was first sergeant this or sergeant major this or major this, when I was younger, or colonel this person. And as I got older and continued doing stuff, I would listen to folks. Like if I was at a place with another, with a lieutenant colonel or a colonel that was there that would engage and talk, and then I would absolutely pick the brain about stuff, or say, hey, what is this? How does my how does my record look? What do I need to do, because this is what I would like to do, because and it's again, I some of that was on me, but some of it is on the senior person, or what you call it, because I was a really good, I was really good at what I was doing. I was a good soldier. I was a good nurse. So I don't understand why I didn't get that. And again, I think some of that comes back to me, just because I didn't say, hey, Colonel Tommy, could you mentor me? Or
Sorry,
could
Major
you,
Tom.
sorry, Major Tommy. Okay.
I'm just playing.
Could you mentor? I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
have that in that, I guess, the traditional way.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had it in, I could talk to folks, or I had friends, or even with my spouse, which I feel like was a advantage for me, just because she wasn't a nurse, but she was.
But she was like a
So
year ahead of you.
yeah, she was
Yeah.
here, and so
So
I was able. And the same
yeah.
thing when we talked about retirements and all that stuff. It was like I was always at least a year behind
Right.
folks, or whatever. So I had,
Yeah.
really good friends and people that were a couple of years or whatever that I could talk to,
Right.
or could ask, or they would come back and say, "Hey, man, make sure that you're looking out for this, and make sure that you do this before
Right.
you." So I always had folks, but
Right.
it wasn't. I didn't have like one central person
Right.
or a couple of people who I could actually go to that were coming back and checking up on me
Yeah.
in that manner in my profession or in my thing. But I had friends that were
There with you.
there through the whole way, which I felt like was mentorship for me.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Yeah, so-
I mean, mentorship doesn't have to come from. That's another thing. Mentorship doesn't have to come from sergeant major or freaking full bird or general. Sergeant major could come from a peer who's served in different positions. It can come from one rank above or two ranks above. So, don't mistake that. I would say that I've had mentors that sometimes I didn't know they were mentors. I've had, but I never had that, and that goes back to what you were saying. I never had that desire to go ask somebody else questions because I was always thinking, I'm going to get that. Ooh, I see them. I don't need to ask them how to get there. I'm going to get there, which is hogwash, right? Because
Yep.
you hear two senior people now telling you that we wish we would have sought mentorship and not chased people for mentorship, but just maybe thought of it. Because I know people from every rank that I served, there were people that stood out that I wanted to emulate in some piece about it. But real conversations from people that I admired, I didn't really get that until I was a staff sergeant. And so I was a staff sergeant, platoon sergeant, and then I left there and I went to battalion when I was at Fort Eustis. I was in the S3 shop, and which is the operations shop. And I've talked about before, but there, E8 came in as the S3 NCOIC, and he was paying attention, and he was having conversations with me and about the military, about my career, and about the future. So that's the first time somebody's ever done that.
Was that after you all had your counseling, or was he even?
It was just a
counseling
daily.
change, just talking?
It was just he'd walk around the whole, because it was a pretty big S3, but he'd just walk around and then he'd stop by and just sit there and talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first time that I had consistent mentoring, not just counseling, because he wasn't even my rater.
Okay.
But he imparted the senior thought process into me.
He saw the potential and knew just from your conversations that you
Maybe,
wanted to be
yeah.
at a certain level.
And he was able to make me think about stuff, slow me down, because that was my biggest thing, slowing me down, because I was a hard charger, which was great, but like I said, sometimes my energy and my drive was well ahead of my actual leadership capabilities, So being able to be slowed down there but real mentorship for me, not taking away anything he did, but real mentorship didn't start coming to me until I made first sergeant. Or I take that back. Senior sergeant first class, made sergeant, senior sergeant first class. It's real mentorship started when I was at Augusta, Fort Gordon, and that's where I've talked about Sergeant Major Clark. I was a senior E7. I'm talking
Were
4
you
or 5
15?
years.
How many years were you in?
Yeah, about 15.
15 years.
Yeah, about 15. A senior E7. I'd been looked at for E8 twice. One, two, twice. And Sergeant Major Clark, Hanson Clark, he was the first one that he could come across as cool, and he could be like your boy, all that, but at the same time, he clip your fingers off. You know what I mean? If you did the wrong thing, and so what that did is it allowed me to be who I am, but at the same time, he was able to pump the brakes. And he's a little dude. That's what's funny, but he had strong personality, and he was just. He was what I needed before I became a first sergeant.
Okay.
Because he had just come out of the academy when he came over to be the S4 sergeant major, and that's why I say God painted my path. He even painted the slowdowns because he knew there's a reason. But the meetups that I've had over the years, because he was a huge impact, him and Master Sergeant Terrell, because I was able to see Master Sergeant, how he lived, how he flowed, and he had been a first sergeant, so I had him to follow on. But then I had Clark, Sergeant Major Clark, who fast, he was high speed, his ranks and his achievements and the check blocks he's checked. But just being able to hear his wisdom and be at a point where I was ready to listen to it, and have that. But then that's when I started, because then I left there, went to Campbell. Then I had a couple sergeant major mentors as a first sergeant that were really valuable, man. Like the sergeant major would just pull you to the side and be like, "Hey, how's everything going? Blah, blah, blah. What do you want to do?" And so that, and then when I made sergeant major, senior sergeant majors would want to come to have conversation with you, especially when I was in 2ID, just having the ability to talk to a command sergeant major at that level, 2-star level, who was listening to you,
Right.
yeah, and who was who bought into you,
Right.
And so that was good experience.
And folks shouldn't be afraid to speak to the folks at those levels and things like that.
Oh, I used to tell everybody to do that, man.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just the experience and the knowledge that folks have, especially when they're at that, for real, at that senior level, and they've been in for some years. Because I'm gonna tell you, it was a whole lot easier being a mentor as that 06 with 27,
time.
28, with that time, and because it's like seen it, done it, experienced it,
and you're you're not competing with people. Yeah,
not at all. So I mean, it was a joy to see, to be able to help, feel like it, because because you get to the point where it's like, okay, I need to help folks and try to get folks to understand the areas where you work and with the big picture thing, to really be able to explain it to them, because that's one thing that I feel like that I didn't get out, that this is the big picture stuff.
The patience to explain,
so things like that. But that's to be expected.
Yeah.
When you're,
and also to add to that, us seniors, we love an opportunity to talk about. We may not have the most time or whatever, but if you get a senior to put you on their calendar, just know that joker right there is willing to give you whatever they can. But if you don't know them, they don't know what you need to hear. So
Right.
you have to initiate that
You got
conversation.
to participate.
When you sit down in that meeting, because when I get people on my calendar to come sit in there, it end up being me the one would be running the conversation, and you'd have to stop that and say, "Hey, why did you come
Right.
here? Why do you want to talk to me?" And then they start to tell you their goals and stuff like that. And then if you're capable as a mentor, you're able to give them the steering
Right.
wheel and then just react to what they're doing. But I'll tell you, seniors love to talk
Yeah.
about their experiences. Um, but you also have to know who's being honest with you and who's not, And that's why another thing I'll say, that mentor-mentee relationship, it's beyond a supervisor relationship. There's like real caring there, like your energy and your want to succeed is in this person
Right.
that you want to be your mentor. And then as a mentor, the mentee, you see that energy, you see that that bond, that like spirit. That's
Yeah, I mean, you got to know them more than just
yeah.
the job. You got to know what the family situation
So you can
is,
be
so that you
honest.
can,
Yes,
so you
yes,
can try to
yes.
guide them, because you don't want to get somebody some advice that's going to cause them to having their
Yeah,
wife or husband
yeah,
be like, all right, peace out. This
yeah,
ain't for me. You
yeah.
want something that's going to blend.
Yeah.
So
It's a real relationship that it sort of takes on that mother father role, but it doesn't go that far because they're being completely honest with you the whole
Right.
time. They're not trying to cater to your
So
feelings.
let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
What's your advice to leaders who want to mentor but don't know where to start?
So the first piece of advice I would say is, if you are wanting to be a mentor, then look for soldiers in your area of concern, right? That have that energy looking for a mentee, right? And the way you find that is find somebody that reminds you of you, and not the bad parts or not just a couple of parts, but you see the drive, you see the energy in them, and you really feel you have something you can offer them. And make sure that your sincerity is there from the beginning and stays. Don't do it because it's a NCOER or OER block to check. Don't do it because you want people to look at you and see that you're helping people, or they're not a part of your mentee is never a part of your legacy. No, don't do that, right? Because your energy is helping them build their legacy, not yours. Okay, so first off,
the mentorship is not about
not about you at
Yeah,
all.
it's about them.
That's why we said take that ego out. So I would say that first off, for leaders that want to be mentors, and secondly, you also have to understand that not every soldier is going to listen. And don't let the fact that you try to mentor a soldier and they're not receptive to it, don't let that stop you from mentoring other people.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Just know that that person right there ain't trying to hear what you're trying to say, so don't waste your energy.
Right.
And a mentor is not a supervisor, meaning if they refuse to do what you want them to do, or you having issues with them, the last thing out of your mouth should be counseling, should be threatening UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is punishment. It shouldn't be none of
Yeah,
that.
it shouldn't feel like it shouldn't feel like a job.
External,
It
yeah.
shouldn't feel like, oh my God, I got to do. I mean, it should be something that's just a natural
Opportunity.
sit down having
Yep.
a conversation
Yep.
where you're trying to
Yep.
help somebody get to, try to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
Try to give them a good pathway, or create a good pathway that's going to work for them. So
And I really appreciated soldiers that would come, knock on your door, ask you if you have a minute, or pass you and ask if they could come to your office. and then you sit there and you give them time and energy
Mm-hmm.
to help them after listening to them, and that's a hard thing to listen and not just over talk. I can tell you I have that problem sometimes, but
You don't do that.
but to see them just explode, like I'm not even going to say his name, but my last job I had this E8, and he hadn't he was getting ready to get looked at for
Mm-hmm.
Sergeant Major, and that joker brought me his ERB and his stuff, and I was like, man, I said, I can honestly tell you that if they don't select you, then the whole system's wrong, right? And so after the confidence of that, I was able to have real conversations with him about, being a sergeant major,
Mm-hmm.
and just listening to what he had to say and just giving my advice on that stuff. And that joker is excelling. He's one of a few that have made sergeant major that were under me, that just seeing him excel is just, I mean, I'm liking the heck out of his
Well, I
stuff,
mean,
and because I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of him because you could tell they listened, but you could also tell that that's what they wanted,
right.
and to
I mean,
see
you saw
them
the
do it.
potential in them, and
Absolutely.
then
And
they
they
were
take
coming
it and
seeking some information to be better.
yep.
Yeah,
And to
so,
see them take and sprint, it was just lovely. What about you? What's your advice to leaders
um,
that want to be
that want to
mentors?
be, make sure that you have something to give folks. You know, I mean, because you don't want to just you gotta you have to have some experiences. You know, you can't. It's hard to be
You both
a
can't plan the
mentor.
path.
Yeah, and you've been at the one place for 2 years or whatever. I mean, you have to.
Yeah,
You have to have some type of experience to be
yeah,
able. You have to have something to offer the individual.
yeah,
But it's really, man. It's like what we've been saying is make sure you're ready to be honest with folks, and you're not gonna be afraid to hurt somebody's
feelings.
feel like you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. You
Yeah,
know, by telling them the truth about something, and knowing that telling them the truth doesn't mean breaking them down.
yeah,
You know, beating them down
yeah.
about stuff. But it's just.
It's a delicate
Yeah,
thing.
it really is,
Yeah,
man.
it's a
It's
delicate thing.
make sure you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to do it. You want to know that it's not about you. You know that, and you again, you just want to be able to get lay it all out there for them,
Yeah.
so that they can make good decisions,
Yeah.
and don't be afraid. It's like, oh, if I tell them this, they might pass me up, or they might,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
ego.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't be afraid of that.
That should be
Yeah, it should be a motivating
yeah.
thing. But yeah, just I mean, but absolutely. If you want to be a mentor, then do it.
Yeah.
You know, because and then you have to, and you can, I guess, put it out there for folks when you're doing counseling, or if you're out doing your walk around. Say, hey, if you need something, you want to talk about anything else, let me know. You know,
Yeah.
come. Make schedule a time on the calendar,
Yep.
with an appointment or whatever, so we can talk about
Yep.
some other stuff. If you got other if you come up with anything else that you think you want to talk
Or
about,
just
or
check
wanna,
progress.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do it, then just make sure that you make yourself available.
Yeah. Time.
Yeah, for folks,
Yes.
because I mean, again, like Tommy said earlier, it's like it's not just during the counselings and stuff. Like, it can be some extra time. So be ready for that person to want to call you
Yep.
after duty hours,
Yeah.
or
Or
meeting somebody.
even on. Yeah,
So,
just
I mean,
understand.
just make the time, be available,
Yeah.
so that people feel like, okay, I can really open up, talk to them,
Yeah.
and really put themselves out there, because some folks they might feel I would say embarrassed about what
Yeah.
what their goal, or because it may not be a super lofty thing that
Yeah.
or where you are. Their goal might not be to do what
Following
you're doing,
your
but they
footsteps,
want
yeah.
to still do things to progress and
Yeah.
excel,
Yeah.
and they might want to do something that's not in your particular wheelhouse,
Yeah.
but they feel like you can help. They
Yeah.
feel like you can still help them
Yeah.
because they respect and know you. Because they're going to know your career. They're going to know you got to got to a certain area, and they know that you had to check off some blocks with some things.
To get where you
But
are. Yeah.
to really know, they're going to need to sit down and talk to you. So, but that's it.
And just hearing you, the biggest thing I would say is what we've said and what you just said. But I just want to remind people, when we say be present, that means it's going to take your time, right? And so that's why there should be a kinship right there. There should be something that connects you to that soldier that's going to be your mentee, whether it's a junior leader, senior leader, what have you. But because if you don't have a bond there, then you're not going to be present and you're not going to give your time.
Right.
Because there have been times when I've been in meetings or dealing with stuff and I get messages and, I can't respond immediately, but as soon as I'm finished, I'm on that phone or replying back to a text or saying, yeah, hey, what's going on? You good? Whatever. Just trying to make sure, because if you actually care, and that's something, I'll say this and then we'll move on. A mentee is chosen. As a supervisor, they're assigned.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. So if you choose to mentor someone, then it's your choice, your energy, your time, and don't slouch and don't cheat them on it, because they believe in you. All right. So that's all I got, man. I can't get no more, man. It's just
good. That's good.
so. Just remember, what's your advice? I'm gonna ask you before I wrap this up. What's your advice to soldiers on whether they should seek a mentor and where to look? Because we just talked about the mentor part.
I mean, again, like I said, because I never was actively seeking
A
a mentor, especially when I was younger, because my goal when I was younger was, again, learning my job. I was trying to learn and be the best nurse, the best OR nurse. I was trying to learn those things. And
You had your course already.
Right, and it really wasn't until, I guess I should say, you can look to find a mentor. This is just my advice. Look to find a mentor straight out the box, but a lot of the stuff is going to have to wait until you learn what you're doing, learn your skill set or whatever, when you're looking at some of the
But even that can be done, because the quicker you can get in your head that to be successful in this job, not just the military, to be successful in this job, I have to take it seriously, and then I have to commit myself to it. If you're at that level where you've done that, then that's when you start to seek a mentor.
Yeah, I mean, and when you start looking for, it really is. I mean, after your first few years, a couple of years, 2-3 years, when you start
taking it seriously,
and you start looking for different opportunities, leadership opportunities, different jobs and stuff. I think that's when the mentorship really starts to kick in and be valuable, because then that's when folks can start saying, "Hey, have you done this yet? Have you done it?" Because it's certain things that need to be checked off, or you need to do in order to be considered, first of all. And then it's some other things that you might need to do or take or look at in order to be successful.
Right.
Because you want to have the opportunity to get the job. And then the next thing is you want to be successful at the job. So you want to make sure that you have, a bunch of those things. You may not have all of them, but make sure that you have
some stuff.
Make sure you have a good bowl full of those things in order to take you in. And again, like I didn't start seeking or really talking to folks about different stuff until I got, at least 10 years in, because it was like, okay, this is where it's, or maybe 8 years in, 6, 7, 8 years in, because all of the other stuff was just, the nature of where I was working and my
The natural
job.
steps.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
was like you need to know what you're doing
Yeah.
before people will even consider
Yeah.
putting you, giving you those opportunities. And then that's where I wish that I would have been more proactive, maybe a little earlier, so
Yeah.
that and tell them. And that's the other thing too is let folks know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Let folks know what you want to do
Yeah.
so that they can tell you, hey, you need to do this, or hey, maybe not do this job or seek this job, but try to get this one,
Yeah.
and that makes you look more not profitable. Make you look more
Marketable.
marketable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marketable for that
Future promotions
that
and
future
stuff.
promotion, future job or
Jobs.
something
Yeah.
that you want to do. So
Now I'm with you. I'll just say that for me, I didn't realize, like you, that I needed mentorship until I was past the point. And I'll tell you, my first like 4.5, 5 years in the military, I didn't take it seriously as a career. I took it seriously in learning my job. I took it seriously in going to boards. I took it seriously in trying to understand what the military was, the Army specifically. But I didn't have long-term goals, for the military.
you don't know what you don't
Yeah.
know. You don't know what you don't know.
But
So
but those times are valuable too, and that's why I say the time to call for a mentor is when or seek a mentor is when you make up in your mind that this is serious,
right.
and the quicker you do that, the more successful you'll be in the military. I can tell you that for sure. That's usually why older people, when they come to the military, they advance quicker, but because it took me a couple years to get the dumb off of me, So I'd say for those that are interested in seeking a mentor, I'd first say make sure you're serious about your job and what you want out of life. It may not be 30 years in the military. It may be 6 years and then go to college, or 6 years and do college for 6 years in the military, then get out and get a job. It may be whatever. But first off, make sure you're serious. Second thing is seek people that can help you. And that's what we were talking about. The more senior ranks, the more experience somebody has, the more the different things they've touched in their career. If that's similar to what you need, then that's who you go to. And you only find that out by asking questions and by watching people move.
Yep.
And then I guess the final thing I'd say is it has to be a relationship. There has to be. It's not a friendship. It's not a parent-child relationship. It's a professional and it's two professionals, but one wise enough to know that I have to be honest and I have to help you be successful. And then the mentee has to be wise enough to know that the only thing I'm asking you about and I'm telling you about is stuff that's related to where I'm trying to go.
Right.
It's not let's hang out, let's drink some beers and get drunk and party. That's not what this should be. And if it's a guy and a girl, it shouldn't end up being a relationship where you're boyfriend, girlfriend, stuff like that or whatever. It should be professional,
Situation.
but it should be close, and you both should want to be around each other so that you can help each other and grow. That's what it should be. Now, where to look? The younger you are, the closer you look, right? So if you're like we'll say a specialist, young Sergeant E5, or maybe a PFC that thinks they know what they want, then start looking in your platoon, start looking in your company, start looking in a battalion, so that you can see them often, so that you can watch them move and you can ask them questions because you've got confidence that they can help you on your path. But when you're starting to make the junior ranks or the middle ranks and higher, that's where you've had experience, you've traveled around a little bit, and You can see how people have moved, and you may call somebody up from the past, or you see somebody that presents themselves well. Don't run right to them. Watch them and see how they carry themselves, and then see if that's somebody you actually want to be around, or see if that's somebody that you actually believe can help you, whatever. And then just go from there. But there's no specific place to look. It's about what you see, what you can relate to, and who's willing to help you in a professional manner, not in not no freaking extracurricular relationships and stuff like that, because you're not going to get the full you're not going to get the full experience you need if you take on that father-son role, father-daughter role, whatever, or you take on that relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend type stuff. You don't get the full experience because there's too many other things in the way.
If you're looking for a kid, you got big boys, big girl program.
Yeah, a whole bunch of other things. And adopt.
Yeah, you can do that too.
But just remember this, right? Mentorship, it doesn't start with a title, right? It's not something you're seeking to give because you want recognition for it, right? It starts with clear intention.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not about creating a clone of yourself, and,
ego.
It's about unlocking someone else's path that's best path for them.
Yes.
And not forcing them to take all of the steps or do all of the same things that you did.
Right.
Because you're not going to, a lot of times you're not going to have the same, you might not have the same situations or opportunities, but you can have similar ones.
And your course may not be the one that's right for them. Maybe you wish you would have went left. You know what I'm saying? So if you're listening and you've ever had a mentor, or you are a mentor now, I want you to ask yourself, as a mentor, are you present? Are you listening? Are you guiding or just talking?
Right. So, hey, y'all, and we'd love to hear your mentorship stories. Yeah. Let us know how you found one, or let us know how you became one.
Yeah.
And drop us a DM and leave us a comment.
Yeah. So thank you once again for listening, and follow us at 4 Titles, 1 Truth on all social media platforms, to include Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And don't forget, take an opportunity to rate us on these podcast platforms, and share the show with somebody you think that might be interested in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So join us next time so we can keep the conversation going. All right.
Peace.